él tiene el objetivo aquí, ¿sabéis? Entonces, claro, a ti te puede chocar que tenga los ejes negros, pero es que es parte del resultado final. Total, que vamos a ver otro. ¿Cuál nos toca ahora? A ver cuál es este.
Tus fotos de grupo siempre perfectas con Google Pixel 8 y Orange.
¿Quién dijo que no se puede cuestionar lo establecido? Y que no debemos
Anuncio de Nissan Juke.
Nuevo Nissan Juke, descaradamente híbrido.
Venga.
You guys didn't think you'd be seeing another CR250 video for a while. To be honest, neither did I. While you're watching this video, I'm in Serbia riding motorcycles for 2 weeks,
A
but
ver,
this is
vamos a pasar
all
un poquito para adelante.
Hope you guys enjoy. To start this episode off, let's install this hydraulic.
Ah, le va a poner un
clutch
embrague
from Magura.
hidráulico.
If you followed along with the YZ300 build, you might remember the Magura hydraulic clutch unfortunately had to be removed because it could not fit with the Panthera.
Yo lo monté en el motor de Cagua cuando hice la Cagua, o no, era motor Yamaha, en la Cagua 2,5 AF, y el hidráulico iba bien, pero por ejemplo la campana se me marcó una cosa exageradísima, cosa que con el cable no sé si tendría que ver o yo qué sé, pero vamos, no me gustó un poco, no me gustó. Al final, el resultado final. Y le terminé poniendo el cable otra vez.
These hydraulic clutches are incredibly easy to install and definitely reduce the amount of effort required to pull the clutch when compared to the cable clutch. I opted to swap the lever for a shorty lever that suits my preference a little bit better, but the longer lever will of course be included with the bike for whoever wins it. Now you guys got a quick sneak peek at this absolutely gorgeous smart carb in the engine build episode, but now it's time to take a closer look and actually install.
Por eso nunca hay que limpiar los ejes con estropajo y demás porque se oxidan y se sueltan. Ya. Le quita. Por eso antes cuando lo estaba arenando lo he dicho, digo, fijaros cómo se le está quitando la capa de fin o de lo que lleve. Se notaba cómo se le iba quitando.
You'll notice the smart carb kind of has this egg shape, so I removed a small amount of material from the intake manifold in order to match that shape. This will ensure optimal air and fuel flow through the engine. To modify that intake manifold, I simply used a Prime MX wheel on my Dremel. One thing I was very pleased with on the smart carb design was how simple they made throttle cable installation.
Interesante el
carburador. The design makes complete sense, and throttle cable install was significantly easier than with an OEM carb. I am using a Pro X throttle cable from the Prime MX website.
Hombre, estéticamente, funcionalmente no lo sé, porque no he probado ninguno. Pero estéticamente el Electron es más guapo, ¿eh? Parece más recogido, así transparente, pero más guapo. Estéticamente, ¿vale? Funcionalmente ni para joler idea. Lo mismo funcionalmente funciona hasta mejor. Ni idea.
It's time to install the carb. The nubs from the intake manifold also need to be removed so that the smart carb could sit flush to the manifold, and boom, smart carb installed, just like that. I wanted to upgrade the throttle for this build from my traditional ODI lock-ons in search of an even smoother throttle operation.
Caña con rodamiento.
I ordered the Tusk throttle tube with a bearing at the end, and I had to do about 15 iterations of modifying the throttle tube to make it work. It was simply too wide in a few spots, causing it to rub the side of the throttle housing and operate poorly with multiple spots where you could feel it snag. For example, watch and listen.
Esto está rozando.
That just wasn't going to cut it, so I continually removed a small amount of material with prime wheels and kept testing until the throttle operation was smooth as butter. Next up, it was time to add some protection to this beautifully vapor blasted frame using some frame guards from Prime MX. These will add a little bit of grip when riding the bike as well as protect the frame.
Eso es lo del Niemela, el Prime MX.
If you missed my last video, Cameron Niemela has actually been diagnosed with cancer again. MX Revival started a fundraiser to help Cam deal with the financial burden of all of his treatments. So if you'd like to support Cam's battle, that link is in the description. So this is a factory effects bar pad. I bought one of these for the YZ300 as well. They are not cheap and they suck. Why'd you buy another one? Well, to be honest, I didn't realize it was the same brand. But the foam is about the lowest quality I've ever seen on a bar pad, and the stitching is really, really horrible.
Que es malísimo, está diciendo. Pero vamos, a priori está chulo así de onda. Cómo se nota la espuma de uno a otro, Nada más que a simple vista, cómo se nota.
As a whole, I would highly not recommend these bar pads, but I will still use this cover because it looks real nice.
Bueno.
I am so unbelievably tempted to install the grips, but I know it would be a bad idea to do right now.
Los
That is
puños.
because they're white, and I'm guaranteed to get them dirty before I finish.
Eso iba a decir yo, digo. Dice, como los monto los voy a manchar, que es justo lo que iba a decir, digo, mejor para dejarlo para lo último.
We've got a restyle kit front fender right here, courtesy of MX Plastics. This is from the Polysport Restyle Kit, as well as, shoot, front number plate. The restyle fender needs some modifications to fit the Ride Engineering clamps. I will show you why and how in a moment.
If you have followed along for the entire CR build series, you are already aware that I have some questions about front fender fitment.
And those questions arise from the Ride Engineering clamps. These clamps are essentially retrofit. They're designed for an 02 CR250, but the bolt pattern is set up for an 09 to 2020 CRF. Problem is, plastics updated in 2021 and the new ones look way
Se ve el
better.
protector un poco chinoso, se ve rarillo, sí.
What we know right now about the CRF front fender is for it to
Le ha
bolt
puesto la
up, we're
espuma
gonna have
del
about a
protape, que la
half-inch
espuma es buena,
gap
pero se ve
on the
rarillo,
lower mount. That is not a problem to solve with spacers. The question is, will the front tire hit the fender?
And while normally I can go to Thumper Talk, Vital MX, YouTube, Instagram, you name it, to find an answer, I think I might actually be the first one to have this
O sea, ya pasa un poquillo
specific
para adelante, a ver hasta
question.
que le meta...
Thanks for letting me use your fender, Monty.
OEM 21 CRF fender, Polysport Restyle fender. You can see the differences here are with the Restyle fender, they added new mounting holes, and in replacement of these mounting holes, they added some tabs for the front number plate. Hindsight, when I was getting everything ordered from MX Plastics and digo.
Es que este es de los míos, se enrolla mucho. Para hacerle dos agujeros al guardabarros está un cuarto hora hablando. No te juzgo, yo hago lo mismo. Está haciendo casquillito, todo, mira, mira, mira. Guay, guay. Queda bien. Sí, señor.
Restyle number plate. Our hole is off by half inch-ish. I gotta be honest, I'm about to eyeball this. Right about there. Alright, test fit number one.
Es que todo lo que no es suyo, tío, hay que acoplar ahí de alguna manera.
Pretty freaking good. Number plate
Está
has
bien,
just a
¿no?
little bit more play in it than I would like, so I'm going to modify the hole to drop it just a little bit. Clearance check. That's what we've got.
Mira, la CR, si no la... Jordi Amelio, si no la quieres restaurar, dásela a Javi. O sea, dásela. Javi está buscando una. A ver. Pero vamos a terminar este vídeo y lo comentamos. Un segundín.
Okay, I've been staring at this for quite some time, and I think I have an idea that might eliminate the gap. I'm just gonna do it and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to replace this.
I legitimately think this is going to work.
You guys are probably like, what the hell is going on? Just wait. Got the posts off.
Acá taladra la tija también.
Literally perfect.
Vale, está haciendo rosca. Vale. Le está haciendo rosca al agujero.
Okay, so now we are dialed. This thing is just about perfectly flush to the clamp, so no longer gonna have any clearance issues. Not even gonna need this because the number plate's gonna be sitting at the right height. So the only remaining task is to bore out these holes since they don't line up anymore with those adjustments, and we should be dialed. Okay, there's the final product. Few new holes.
Eso después no se va a ver, esperamos, no vea que boquetones, ¿eh?
Well, that was certainly a multi-hour ordeal, but look at that. We're almost perfectly flush. We are flush to the bottom. Clearance is exactly where we want it. I have no
Está bien, ¿no?
concerns
Está ahí
remaining.
prácticamente al ras.
Problem solved. These aluminum spacers aren't being used for their original purpose, but they are working perfectly. Looks freaking fresh. Took a little bit of a roundabout way to get there.
But most of the time, my best ideas are not my first idea. So I'm glad I was patient enough with this to rethink it and get it done.
The front fender, you can reference this video.
Pues nada, este vídeo ha sido con el guardabarro liado.
Alright guys, I'm out of time. I got a 6 a.m. flight. I seriously need to pack.
I am thrilled with the progress of the CR and I'm super excited
Está quedando
to continue
guapísima.
progress.
Está quedando
I
guapísima.
want to give a huge thanks to all of the amazing companies on board with this build.
Esto más épica. Está... Uy, Vive Express. A ver, Jordi, pues cuando pase de pantalla seguramente se borra el chat, pero yo lo leo, ¿lo ves?